Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here tonight to NYJohn's Killing Spree North America. This is going to be the third place match between Fnatic, I guess, North America, and Team Liquid. I am Maut. Here with me tonight, of course, is NYJohn. How are you, sir?
I am doing great, and I have no idea what's about to come up in this best of three series between Liquid and what looks like some remnants of Fnatic's roster, but I'm certainly excited to be here.
Absolutely, talk about Fnatic, and well, there's a whole lot of drama going on with that. We're not going to delve too far into it because I'm going to assume that everybody that's watching this cast is familiar with what happened. If you're not, go to Reddit, go to Join Dota, go to NA Dota. You'll read about it somewhere, I'm sure. But we're going to jump into the game real quick here. Ban's going to come out. See the Batrider as well as the Wisp on the side of Fnatic. On the side of Liquid, we've got the Dirge and the Nyx Assassin. Darkseer will be picked up here for Team Liquid first, a very strong pickup, and well, we saw Fnatic and we knew what they were capable of before. We casted them a lot. You cast them back when they were JT Dota, Ghost Cup America. They played really well. But now this is a completely different team. So they're going to pick up Keeper of the Light and Lifestealer as well. And against Team Liquid, how tough is this going to be to win with these players they've got, especially considering they're just joining together?
Well, let's not beat around the bush. The overwhelming favorite for this game is going to be Team Liquid. However, it's still a best of three series, and a lot can happen. There's a lot of unpredictable circumstances revolving around the team. You may be familiar with Fnatic.NA, but now this is a different roster, and we do see some world-class players in Hannah Montana joining the ranks, as well as some familiar faces from the NA scene in Korea, Boogaloo, and even DD, who we see around occasionally in some of these top talent games. So I'm interested to see how it's really going to pan out. I think it could be a trap game for Liquid if they try and take a little bit too easy, but with these picks, they're looking pretty solid early on here in the drafting phase, and the burden's going to be on Fnatic to try and prove something. If this is going to be any semblance of their new roster, this is a good point to try and start off and assert yourself and get an early victory.
Absolutely, and they're going to pick up that lone druid. Smurf played it so well, especially if you remember that first game between EG for the first week of Killing Spree. They did a very good job, came very close to coming back and taking the game to EG, but Keeper of the Light and Lifestealer as well picked up for the side of Fnatic here. Shadow Demon and Chen to round out Liquid's first pick phase, and I gotta say, a little bit of a spin here, a little bit of a grudge match between Hannah Montana and his former teammate that was Complexity. And I got to say, it's really exciting. Hannah was one of my favorite players, I think, on Complexity back when he did play for them. Of course, you remember those boot camping videos, and he's a really good player. So, and you made a good point just about the world-class type of players they've got on that lineup. So definitely don't take Fnatic too lightly here. I think you have to realize we need to play our game, and we need to get it done. But at the same time, with Smurf on that lone druid and however else they decide to set things up here, this could be very dangerous. We're going to get into the next ban phase here real quick. Magnus going to be banned out from Liquid. Not surprisingly, Gyrocopter going to be banned out from Fnatic. Also not a surprise considering how much we've seen Korok play that Gyrocopter. Vengeful Spirit the next one as well. So right now you see the Darkseer, the Shadow Demon, and the Chen. Essentially the side laners as well as the supports are done for Liquid. What they need is that carry and that side laner. That's what you see getting banned out right now from Fnatic. But of course, they do like to run sort of these unorthodox carries. What do you think they're going to pick up here?
Um, Fnatic looked pretty solid in their three pickups. Of course, Keeper Light being one of the best supports in the game, Lifesteal and Lone Druid. They're going to look for a solo middle and potentially another support to throw in the mix. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, they've really left their lineup open. You love to see this approach from teams. They have two supports and an offlaner. They could also put Darkseer middle if they want. They could also go for a hard carry or adjust and try and go for something to try and combat what may be an aggressive tri-lane from Fnatic RC. So there's a lot of different options available. Liquid have left it wide open. Fnatic.NA have kind of defined their roster a little bit, so Liquid know what they're going up against. And we do see some pretty familiar bands coming out. Magnetar taking out Venge, a little bit interesting, but of course has the utility in the swap as well. And then Enigma, the final ban out from NA, and Queen of Pain pickup. Ooh.
And it's going to be interesting to see who plays this one. Of course, we talked about it the other day. TC's so very good on that Queen of Pain. Korra can play it as well. Bulb would probably add to some extent. So we're going to have to see how they decide to play this with whatever player they decide to put that Queen of Pain on. We'll have to find out. That Queen of Pain probably, I'd imagine, would go to the mid lane. He can go to that side lane if they want to send Darkseer mid, but I don't think that's going to happen. They're probably going to do the more standard play there with Queen of Pain in the middle lane. We're going to have to find out what Fnatic wants to do as far as their own middle lane here, like you were talking about. They'll definitely probably be sending that lone druid into that side lane, and it will probably be, I imagine, Keeper of the Light and Lifestealer with some other support in a tri-lane. And we'll have to see if they decide to go aggressive or not. Of course, there is plenty of supports in the pool still, despite a few of them, a few good ones being banned out. You talked about the Vengeful Spirit. Doesn't see as much play, but of course, with that swap so very good, as well as the aura is always nice to have. Magic Missile doing a lot of damage early on. Of course, the Rubik ban. Very good ban because I think a lot of people sort of forget about him. But they're going to go with the Earthshaker here, which is a less than standard pickup, I say, from the side from Fnatic here.
Yeah, it certainly is not what you'd expect to see in the Earthshaker, but I mean, Earthshaker always has a good amount of burst damage to put out. You're against the Chen, and you're against potentially some illusions from Shadow Demon, so he's going to have some situations where he can definitely get off a good Echo Slam and really make things happen for his team, as well as gank opportunities. You can never underrate the Fissure because the positioning advantage it could give you can certainly go a long way in turning the tides of a fight, especially when you have heroes like Lifestealer, where if someone's combined to a small small place, Lifestealer is going to tear through them rather easily. This is going to be an interesting pick coming out from Liquid at the last selection. I think you made a really good point. Queen of Pain has 3 player options on that team. TC and Korok play probably some of the best Queen of Pains, and as well as Bulba does. So I'm really curious to see who's going to end up with that. Probably expecting TC because of the roles they've been playing as of late. But this last hero selection is going to be a big one for them because it's going to be the hard carry, and they have to be ready to try and go against what can be an aggressive tri-lane.
All right, wait, I've got it. It's going to be a CK. I've got a feeling right now. You are so good at predicting heroes that I'm just going to come in right now. I'm going to say it's going to be a CK and it's going to be Korok playing it. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to be really mad. We're going to find out in 48 seconds of reserve time right now. Of course, they do have Chen, so it's not going to be really a tri-lane per se, so Shadow Demon and CK will have to be careful. Then again, actually, maybe not a CK, because with Shadow Demon, that's kind of maybe not the best choice. All right. Yeah, okay. Well, it's going to be a Storm Spirit, which we saw Fog play so very well the other day, and I was completely wrong in my pick, but that's fine. That's whatever, not a big deal. And Fnatic has one more pickup here. What do you think about this Storm pickup?
It's an interesting pick, and we mentioned last time we saw Liquid that Korok is one of the best Storm Spirit players I have ever seen, and they're going to put Storm Spirit in a position where he can get farm, and we've seen, of course, what Fog can do with farm on a Storm Spirit a couple of days ago, and the hero is a very strong hero. There's a decent amount of lockdown on Fnatic.NA, but not enough to really slow down Storm Spirit all that much, especially if he can get the farm under him. The question is going to be how well he can manage in what may be a dual lane, what may be a tri-lane. It depends how it actually pans out. I think this is the go-ahead for Fnatic.NA to try and run an aggressive tri-lane with the Keeper Light, Lifestealer, and Earthshaker. It's almost like a challenge coming out from Liquid, saying, let's see what you got, because Storm Spirit probably wouldn't be able to hold up that well in that lane. So I think they're kind of calling them out. If they don't contest it and let the Storm Spirit farm, they're probably going to have a good advantage moving into the middle stages of the game.
Absolutely, and that'll be super useful. But at the same time, they do send that tri-lane against that Storm Spirit. Queen of Pain might have some room to farm, get some farm up on that as well. And Darkseer as well could also provide some potential problems there against, of course, not only the Lifestealer, not necessarily the Lone Druid, but maybe their last pick as well. We're going to have to see what they do pick up here last. They've got about 15 seconds left on reserve time, then we will get into the game. And it will be an Invoker pickup here from Fnatic North America. I hear that's really not been played a whole lot as of recently, just because of that nerf, base damage nerf that he took a few patches ago. So we'll have to see how that does play out. Looks like they're probably going to send him to the mid lane, I'd imagine. I'd be very surprised to see him go anywhere else. Lone Druid in that side lane, and then probably, like you said, an aggressive tri-lane with that Earthshaker, Keeper Light, and Lifestealer. We will see TC on that Queen of Pain like we predicted. Korok, of course, like you said, one of the best Storm players out there. He'll definitely be on that one. So, going to jump into the game in just a second. And boy, this is going to be a good one. I got to say, Fnatic with this new lineup could certainly turn some heads here if they could get a good start and maybe even take game number 1. We'll have to see, though. Once again, this is going to be Killing Spree North America. This is battle for 3rd place right now. Team Liquid against Fnatic, and it is the first game in a best-of-3 series. Once again, I'm Maut. Joined with me is NYJohn, waiting on 2 players to take their roles up and jump into the game. Fluff's going to pick up that Chen, unsurprisingly, and of course Smurf, who I'm not sure what he's doing, but he'll be in the game in just a moment, hopefully. And thank you so much for joining us today. So, introductions here on the side of the new Fnatic, or semi-new, I don't know how you want to say it, but Smurf will be on that Lone Druid, Boogaloo on the Keeper of the Light, Korea will be on the Invoker, Hannah Montana going to be on that Lifestealer with DD, finally rounding up the lineup with Earthshaker. They're going to head down to the bottom lane. It will be an aggressive tri-lane. We're going to have to see how Liquid is going to be able to deal with this. Meanwhile, heading to the mid right now is TC on that Queen of Pain. Bulba is going to head to the jungle on the Darkseer. X Mike also heading mid right now with the Shadow Demon. Fluff on that Chen heading the same direction. And finally, Korok rounding it out on that Storm Spirit. So, We're going to jump into the game in just a second. Looks like some 5-man aggression going into the bottom side jungle here to maybe try and find out this aggressive tri-lane who is going to try to go for some ward placements here, I'd imagine, with Boogaloo. Actually looking for Roshan early on is Team Liquid. Unsurprisingly, they want to make sure that they don't get caught out or anything like that and have that, you know, that blow go against them. That could be a lot of experience early on if you lose that early Rosh. Nice ward placement coming out from Boogaloo, and that's going to make sure that there's not going to be any pulls happening down here in the bottom lane, which looks like it will be the solo Queen of Pain. It looks like they might send the... They're going to send Korok mid, it looks like, and then heading up to the top lane right now is Bulba, despite... Usually you see the Darkseers, or at least I have in the past few games, you see them get a few levels up in the Darkseer in the jungle, but that's not going to happen, it looks like. So they'll send him top, Korok mid, and of course the Queen of Pain solo, which I think gives it a little bit more survivability to TC, but he might not, and by might not, he probably won't get as much farm as he might want, so...
Yeah, this is a very interesting laning setup, but to put Korok middle, it's a decent matchup actually for Storm Spirit. He can manage pretty well here, but it looks like he'll get some assistance from IX Mike anyway. The bottom lane's going to be questionable though. TC's probably not going to get ideal farm down here because of the circumstances, and Fluff's only going to be available occasionally to come in for some supporter ganks. They can go on some hard dives here, try and really make something happen against Queen of Pain early, and probably slow down TC's farm. So they're sacrificing the farm on Queen of Pain to try and benefit the Storm Spirit. It's an interesting decision, and we'll see exactly how it works out. On the top lane, Darkseer should manage pretty well against Lone Druid. Both of them should get decent CS as long as Smurf can maintain it under the tower. So, I mean, it looks like each team's going to get 1.5 lane victories as it's poised right now, but it's really going to come down to how much Queen of Pain can get down here and making sure that Korok's able to execute, because Invoker has gotten an early level in Exhort, so it's going to allow him to last hit pretty effectively early on in the game.
And he's going to go for that cross exhort build those phase boots as quickly as possible with that early blades of attack. So not surprising there, he's going to do some extra damage. Meanwhile, Smoke Gank going to try to come mid. Disruption is available for IX Mike. They're going to go on the Invoker. He does not have a Wex point yet. He'll back off to the tower right now, and he's going to wait. The creep wave should push out, and they're not going to go for anything just yet. They're staying very, 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 very far back right now on the side of Liquid. They're going to go in a minute, though. At least they should. Of course, this creep wave up on the high ground is going to be difficult to get into range of Corey. As you can see, he's standing very far back because he knows that the two heroes are not here just yet. It looks like they might go. There's going to be a disruption onto Korea right now. There's going to fly some... there's the War Stomp from the Ursa Warriors while Korea taking a lot of damage. He might go down. That is going to be first blood. IX Mike will get it. And that is just pretty much just... That's how you do it right there. That is standard play and getting that first blood with that smoke gank in the mid lane. Just nice stuff. Get that disruption out early. Get that Ursa Warrior to do his damage, and then Korra comes in to finish off the kill.
Yeah, that was textbook, and now it's actually causing Fnatic to adjust in a way that they probably don't want to. They're going to bring over Earthshaker, keep him towards the middle lane to make it a little bit more safe for their solo middle, and that does make the bottom lane much more manageable for Queen of Pain. So a slight adjustment this early on, perhaps a little bit rash in that it's only one death, and Korea can definitely manage a little bit better as he's jumping on Cork now.
There's going to be Fisher's going to fly out in just a second. He wants to hit it. He's taking tower damage, though, not on the right side, so they will back off even with that haste rune. The Cold Snap did fly out, but it was not enough. And eat a tree and probably head back to that bottom lane. Good point talking about giving TC some room to farm. He's at 7 last hits right now. He's actually tied for the... well, he was about tied with that lone druid. So side laner's doing okay for themselves right now. As you can see, Hannah Montana with 8 last hits, 18 for the Darkseer. So he's far and away leading the way up there in that top lane right now. Bulba doing a very good job. Has that soul ring up. He's actually going to try to dive this tower and do some damage to Smurf. Here comes a gank at the top lane right now. Smurf going to take some damage. Wildkin more takes disruption as well as Soul Catcher going to fly. Bulba trying to do more damage with the Iron Shell. Smurf should go down, no problem. And Bulba's going to get that kill with his Iron Shell. And once again, the rotations from Liquid just so good. IX Mike is rather low in health, but he's got a salve. He'll be just fine. So Fluff and Mike roaming together like it's their job, and they've always done it like that. So very good there. And that's another kill for him.
Yeah, and I'm still caught up on that fish in the middle lane. That was bad. That should have been a hit. Probably should have been a kill on Korok if you just kept them on the right side of it. And you can see they haven't probably played together that often, this team on the Fnatic side, and that definitely is going to be a disadvantage for them. But small plays like that can go a long way, considering it would allow Invoker to take a clean lead and maybe manage a little bit better one-on-one. But now we have Mike and Fluff for them to try and cope with as they continue to roam freely around the map. There is a hidden Earthshaker in this middle lane, and once again, that's just going to benefit TC a lot. And this is an aggressive lineup set up for Liquid, and they're going to not mind this adjustment at all. Croc's going to be relatively safe. They're sacrificing levels on a Shadow Demon, but Shadow Demon will be okay with that, as well as Chen, as long as they're winning all 3 lanes, and they seem to be poised to do so.
Yeah, they're in a very good position to win those lanes. I mean, you look at the last hits right now, 24 on that Darkseer. Korok's at 14. He's not died as opposed to Kree, who did go down that one time. Meanwhile, bottom lane, TC getting more farm. He's at 12 right now, and the experience going his way. Meanwhile, IXMike as well as Fluff going to head back up into that top lane. Smurf is in not the best position. He's going to continuously get ganked here, and there's not a whole lot he can do about it. There's no entangling claws just yet on that bear that could save his life potentially. He's going to take a lot of damage. They're going to die of this. Not even a problem here. Centaur Khan going to look for it. Smurf trying to get up in the jungle. He might try to TP out. He will try to do so. The Centaur Khan going to immediately stop it, though. Smurf definitely in some trouble now, and not with a TP. He is going to go down. That Iron Shell going to finish him off, and that's another kill for Bulba. That's a heavy dive right there, but it doesn't matter because they're going to get the kill regardless.
Yeah, and now it looks like Earthshaker might have to adjust and go top to try and keep Smurf safe. I mean, this is a really poorly done. I think they probably should have left Earthshaker in the bottom lane, try and make the most out of what they could against the Queen of Pain. Smurf struggling up top, but not much they can do right now to try and salvage that. I mean, they have the advantage in almost all of these lanes. Korok's getting his farm. He's now 18 for 7 against the 17 for 9 Invoker. It's pretty even between them, but you know, if you're winning 2 of these lanes in such a big way, it's gonna come back to bite you eventually.
Absolutely.
And Korea does pick up his space boost, so that's one slight positive for him. And Korok, of course, has 1,100 gold in the bank, so we'll see if he wants to go towards Treads, which was the old popular build, or if he's going to go for Arcanes eventually.
He's got 1,000 gold saved up right now. He's going to crow his bottle for the time being. I would not be surprised to see Arcanes because he's got that amount of gold saved up, but we'll see. Korok doing very good. Of course, he has that kill, or part of that kill on Korea, that assist, I should say, giving him that a little bit of extra gold. Meanwhile, they took that tower in the top lane, and that's just going to be even more advantage for them. Meanwhile, Bulba is up here pushing this lane. Smurf is up here, but DD as well. They can go on him, but he does have Surge. He should be okay. Smurf taking just so much damage from this Iron Shell, which is maxed out, by the way. Darkseer is already level 7, if you think about it, at 548 in the game. That's pretty good for him. He's at 39 last hits. Bulba's getting so much CS right now. Meanwhile, Booglu's trying to stack up these Ancients, which is going to give them some hope if they can get some farm either on the Nakes or on, of course, Smurf, but they're going to go for another gank on Smurf or on DD. There's going to be the Soul Catcher and Disruption flying out, Shadow Poison going as well. Vacuum DD trying to Fisher is going to hit everybody, but it's not going to matter. He is dead. Darkseer getting another one. He has not died yet. He's got 3. He's on a killing spree right now himself. Smurf is very low in life. He's actually level 5, not 6 just yet. There's the entangling. Fluff gonna get his open wounds. Hannah Montana trying to come back on the backside. Hannah Montana gonna help get a kill. They're gonna try to turn this around. Like, IXMike's gonna get fished up on the wrong side though. IXMike gonna try to get out 13 seconds for that open wounds. Meanwhile, Cork coming in on the backside right now. He's gonna pull in. Korea, Sunstrike's gonna fly as well. It doesn't matter. Cork's gonna disjoint it just barely. They're gonna maybe go on Hannah Montana. No, that's gonna be it for the aggression. 6-1. So they did pick up a kill there on the side of Fnatic, but they lost too many for it to really matter.
Yeah, and all the while, TC's just farming alone in the bottom lane, so he's going to come out of this that much better off. So it sounds like a broken record, but it just looks like Fnatic haven't played together very much. And of course, with the breakup happening recently, that's probably a big factor. A lot of these players still trying to get adjusted. We don't even know if this is a finalized roster or just a temporary roster for tonight's game, which is another point that should be thrown out there. So they look rusty. They're playing a little bit rusty, and Liquid look on top of their game. They're going to take full advantage of any of these errors that Fnatic are ready to give them, and certainly assert themselves early on in the 7-minute mark with 6-1 in kill lead and a lot in CS advantage as well.
Absolutely, that's going to be pretty important. And you talked about Liquid just on their game. They are absolutely playing well. They're not concerned about this being a trap game. They're not throwing it. They're not doing anything crazy, at least not yet anyways. Already, TC is getting plenty of farm. He's got that bottle like you're talking about, as well as a lot of CS. He's up to 31 right now. Looking at the graphs here, 5,000 experience, heading for Liquid at 740, and Gold now the same. So they're looking very strong. They took that tower up in the top lane as well. Meanwhile, mid's being, there's 3 heroes around here in that mid lane. Just kind of try to keep Korea safe for the time being. Make sure he can get some farm up on him. He's level 6. Taking a look at the levels right now, Earthshaker and Kodal both at level 3 right now. IXMike at 4, but IXMike has been roaming the entire game. He's not been in lane really getting experience or anything like that. He's actually up to 5 right now. So the only person that is really even close to anybody in levels is, of course, that Invoker who's 7 now. So you have to keep that in mind. And there's still like about 3 heroes here. There's going to be, he will go for Treads. Meanwhile, Chen is going to get a kill on the lone druid down in the bottom lane with, of course, that Dark Troll Warlord and that Ursa Warrior as well with the help of TC. So Smurf having a very tough time. Smurf dying 4 times is definitely not what he wanted. They're going to try to go for this tower. They did pop that buckler there, give him that extra armor. Take down this creep wave as well. Meanwhile, up here near the Ancient Stack, of course, is going to be the 3 stand-ins, Korea, DD, as well as Boogaloo. They're going to rotate back mid right now, and Korok does have his ball lightning, so he's okay. He can get out if necessary. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain will take that tower kill on the backside. Ix Mike's going to disrupt. They'll be up on that Earthshaker and the Soul Catcher as well. Shadow Poison going to fly in the Purge. Illuminate. Oh, big damage coming out right now from the Vacuum Bulba, but he's taking a lot of damage on his own. He's going to go down. Meanwhile, Invoker taking some damage, and Ix Mike's going to get another kill. There's a double kill for him. It's 10-2 right now, and Liquid just playing so well despite Bulba going down there.
Yeah, and that was just domination. I mean, they caught them perfectly. The Fisher even trapped in a couple teammates, it looked like. But even the Shadow Demon illusions from the disruption were placed very nicely in favor of Liquid that caught a couple of heroes in a close context there. Vacuum came in and set up a perfect amount of kills. And now in the bottom lane, it looks like they're going to try and jump on top of Lone Druid. Lone Druid's going to back up.
He's tanky with that ult, but they might actually turn around and get a kill on Ix Mike. They will do so. Oh, good all heal coming in from Fluff just at the right time. TC's able to get away, but the Sunstrike is going to hit and get that kill from Korea somehow. Whoa, and they ping it out. Oh, man. That was a good try.
Queen of Pain is actually going to go for an Orchid. So Orchid's going to be really good to shut down Invoker. I wouldn't even be too surprised if Storm Spirit wanted to go for an Orchid as well. He already has the treads, so he'd at least do a good job in auto attack damage as well as have some extra mana regen. It's a possibility for him. He could also go for a BKB, which would be a much safer build, allow him to get into fights, not worry about the Cold Snap holding him back as he jumps on Korea.
And the Sunstrike's going to fly. It's going to hit Korok, do some decent damage. Korok taking a lot of damage now, but Korea should go down first. There's the Purge on DD right now. Korok going to continue to chase with that ball lightning. Soul Catcher going as well. And the Purge going to get the kill. Nice job by Ix Mike with that Soul Catcher right in time before that Purge knocked off. And Korok looks like he's going to pick up a point booster, and I imagine that's going to be a Bloodstone. So just going to be a little bit tankier, get that mana regen up as well, allow him to jump out like all over the place essentially, and deal that damage, of course, with those treads already finished up.
Yeah, Bloodstone, another popular item choice on Storm Spirit, of course, since the very beginning, and you could understand why he wants that, since they do have a lot of kills early on in this one. Bloodstone will be very beneficial if they can keep the aggression going, as we do see Bulba poking his head on the top lane, thinking about continuing to pressure this tier 2 tower. It's already down to around 3/4 health, so not a bad idea. He has picked up his own Vitality booster, which he might just hold on to as that for a little while, maybe eventually turn it into a Vanguard, or maybe we'll even get to see a Rod of Ados, something fun. Who knows with the way this game is going.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got a lot of gold. He can really turn it into whatever. As long as he stays alive, keeps contributing to kills as well as tower kills, which he's been doing a good job of. Hannah Montana's been trying to farm right now. He's at 39 CS. Unfortunately, that's not going to do it in comparison to Korok, who's at 46 and 53 for TC on that Queen of Pain. But I think that the carries are a little bit harder on the side of Fnatic. Meanwhile, taking some damage is Smurf down here in the bottom lane. Bear trying to entangle TC up, doing some damage there. Sonic Wave available for TC. He could have went for the kill, but of course that tankiness on Smurf going to prevent that from happening. So we'll have to see what else happens here. Ix Mike now with the Medallion of Courage on him, surprisingly enough, is going to provide for even more kills with that armor reduction. Definitely a good pickup, a surprise pickup as well. He's not going to go for anything like that mech, which I'm sure Fluff has completed at this point. Absolutely has. So he's got the mech, he's got the all heal. Chen looking very good. Meanwhile, 2 heroes up in the top lane. Korok's up here trying to get some farm. He's already back up to 1,000 gold. Doing a very good job of farming away. Bulba now still sitting on 2,500. Tower getting pressured here. Tier 1 is also getting pressured, but the Illuminate's going to fly out, do some damage. Mech's going to fly, though. They want to continue this push. As you can see, Fisher flying off as well. They're trying to take down this creep wave, and they're going to be able to do so. Centaur Khan's going to zone them out for the meantime. A lot of damage coming in here. There's going to be the Glyph. Hannah Montana looking to go. It's going to be open wounds on Ix Mike, but the Purge, nice Purge timing coming in from Mike right now. And the Infest going to fly out from Hannah Montana. Going to do a decent bit of damage. Ix Mike just barely getting fissured. And Hannah will get the kill there. So Hannah turning it around.
Yeah, not able to get disruption off on himself in time because of that final stun. So pretty good job of picking up a kill. Nyx certainly doesn't have the farm he's looking for right now. Hannah Montana, of course, sitting on those phase boots as well as Bracer. Probably going to look for drums. That's a pretty typical build we see on Nyx occasionally. And they're really looking for an opportunity to just build up some farm on one of these heroes. So they can try and create some odd man situations. Maybe get some 4v3. That would certainly be nice as long as they can keep one hero farming most of the time. We see Smurf doesn't have much gold in his bank account, only on 850, and that's got to be a concern for them moving forward as some of the items are starting to develop on the side of Liquid in the form of eventually going to get that Orchid as well as the Bloodstone.
Absolutely. Open wounds going on Bulba, who has a Shadow Blade right now, but he's all alone, as you can see. Bulba very out of position right now. Illuminate's going to fly. Bulba should go down here, and he in fact will do so. Korea had that Cold Snap going on him, so they had a nice placed Sentry Ward there. Of course, that Shadow Blade not going to be able to save his life, even with that Sentry around. So, nice try there. Bulba not in the best position, so he'll go down for another 30 seconds, but still farming away as TC now at the bottom Tier 2 tower. He's got that one Oblivion Staff. He'll have another, I'm sure, very soon. And now Hannah's going to come in, maybe going for an open wounds, but he's going to get Shadow Striked. Hannah's actually alone right now, and he's not going to go for anything on TC. TC's going to continue to try to push this lane, and now it looks like, I mean, Fnatic has had 3 heroes pretty much stacked in the middle lane since about 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it certainly has been an interesting setup. I mean, the same could be said of Liquid, though. They rotated a lot of heroes to roaming, and that's why some of the support's not quite as high levels as you'd expect at this point of the game, and Chen sitting at level 8, Shadow Demon at level 8 as well. But that being said, their opposition level 5 on Earthshaker, 6 on Keep It Light, so they still got a decent advantage there. Invoker just finishes up his Midas, so it's a late Midas, but if the game does last, it's probably going to help them out since Nyx is going to be one of the harder carriers available. So he's trying to bank on going towards the later stage of the game where, of course, Midas has a better payoff. And as such, it's a decent decision, I suppose. They could really use an item for right now to try and get some engagement. Earthshaker isn't anywhere near Blink Dagger, of course, so Force Staff to try and get him forward to jump on a hero could be a good idea, as well as the Yules to even set up a gank here or there. So it's an interesting decision. I'm not sure if it's the best one, but if the game does go late, it's going to pay dividends.
Absolutely, and that Midas, like you talked about, is late, but regardless, if they can get this game going late, he can get some extra money with that Midas, farm up enough, and of course going for that Exhort build, he can do some decent damage as well as eventually get up to level 16, make sure you can get all of your points in Wex and everything like that as well, so try to max everything out. So we'll see what in fact happens if it does go late. Right now, Liquid certainly has the lead, of course. Korok against 2 here in the mid lane. There's 10,000 experience going to the side of Liquid. Oh, big entangle. He's gonna ball lightning out, but he'll be fine for the time being. 10,000 now for gold, going the favor of Liquid as well. Meanwhile, here it looks like Fluff trying to go on Korea. He's alone right now. As you can see, the Wildkins are going to be going with their 2 tornadoes, but they're not going to be doing any damage. There's going to be a Fisher hitting on 2, though, and Fluff is going to get disrupted by Mike. Nice job there. TC's going to come in. There's the Sonic Wave. Korea's going to take a lot of damage. All heal going as well. Hannah Montana on the backside using his Infest, trying to go on Mike once again. Meanwhile, Bulba going to get a kill on the Lone Druid once again. Smurf going down. DD so low. IX Mike, though, is going to go down, and the vacuum onto the low end. Hannah Montana now needs to get out, but he is going to die, or he's going to Infest again somehow, but that's going to be it. He's going to rage up. He's not taking any damage from that Iron Shell just yet, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get out of this one. Ball Lightning coming in. There's no pull just yet. Korok has enough mana, but there it goes, and they will get the kill. Bulba's going to pick that one up, and a big play for the side of Liquid again.
Yeah, and you can just see how simple it was for them. That Sonic Wave or Sonic Scream. Sonic Wave, yeah. Does a whole lot of damage, especially to that level 5 Earthshaker. Even with the Scream on the back end of it, it just really took him down quickly. He only sitting on 800 health total, so one combo is enough to take down most of these supports. Here's a jump on Bulba.
Oh, he is so close to going down right now. He's using that vision. That Sunstrike should have killed him, but not going to happen. He does have that Shadow Blade. He was actually going to use it and did, and then he surged himself out. There's a haste rune that's going to be picked up by DD to continue to chase, or, yeah, he will continue to go right now. Salve up on Bulba. There's going to be a Fisher to fly. Not enough damage just yet. He wants this kill. Right click's not going to be enough. Bulba's sitting, waiting for rotations to come in. He's using that Shadow Blade. Oh, Illuminate flying, almost catching Bulba. He would have been dead for sure, but that's going to be the end of the chase. Maybe if he had a totem there, an enchant totem, he might have been able to kill him, but unfortunately it was not the case. Bulba will survive just barely and head back home.
Yeah, clever play by Bulba to juke there. He knew something could come in the form of either a Sunstrike or a blast from Coddle, and he was able to dodge those and make it back home safely. So, a wise play by a veteran player there. And bottom lane, we see TC's camping out a little bit. He has a completed Orchid, thinking about jumping in on Hannah Montana. I'm not sure he'd be able to take him down by himself, so rotations coming in from IX Mike, and certainly with the Demonic Purge, it should be enough to take him down, but Hannah Montana is going to back up and play it safely there. Korok now sitting on his Voidstone as well. He's really close to finishing up that whole Bloodstone. A kill on him would be pretty pivotal here if they can try and jump.
You called it. Bulba picked up the Rod of Atos.
Oh.
How?
Rod of Atos.
Every time. You call it every time.
Classy plays by Bulba. Shadow Blade and Rod of Atos. I mean, this is... he's feeling himself right now. Very confident up in this game. Bulba not too concerned with picking up any of the utility items in the form of a pipe or even an Aghanim Scepter. Instead, just going to roll with whatever's comfortable and try and make this one exciting for the fans at least. Rod of Atos is going to help out a little bit, I guess. They don't have much auto-click damage. They have a lot of mobile heroes. So I'm not sure it's the best item anyway, but...
Oh, TC in the bottom lane is absolutely dead. Lifestealer's going to get that kill. TC did get the kill on DD, but in exchange for his own life, I'm not really 100% sure. I mean, Fnatic getting that kill is certainly going to help them a lot more than him getting that kill on DD. Then again, it still is a trade, so that's nice. One thing I want to mention, Bulba was talking about this, I think it was last night on Mad. He was talking to Aoi 2000. He said he was telling Aoi that I think at ESWC that he told Aoi that Radovatos was imbalanced. So he was trying to pioneer that item, I think, right now. Of course, Radovatos, Aoi's a very big fan of that. If you've ever watched him stream or watched him play, really, he goes with that item quite a lot. So Bulba, of course, going to pick that one up, and definitely an interesting item choice. It gives him that extra health that he might need, and of course, the Purple is always nice as well. It's very nice to have that, especially on these mobile heroes, excuse me, of course, like the Lifestealer. Tough to get, but at the same time, Invoker to a certain extent. Lone Druid perhaps as well, and meanwhile Bubble will go on him. There's going to be the Atos usage. Smurf slowed up, taking a bit of damage with the Iron Shell, and the Vacuum will be enough. The wall will go down as well, and Hannah Montana's going to fly right into that wall, and he will get right-clicked by that wall damage, which is doing quite a bit. Bubble's going to try to go. There's the Fisher coming on the backside, and the Illuminate should finish him off. Korak now solo right now, no help just yet, but of course Ix Mike's coming on the backside. Some damage going in. Hannah's very low in health. There's the Purge and the Soul Catcher on DD, but Mike is now all alone. Oh, and the Medallion, they want that kill, and they'll get it with Korak. Korak's going to get away. The Infest coming out from Hannah Montana. He'll survive. TC going to get the kill on the tower in the bottom lane. Korak going to try to get out. He's going to juke around. They're not going to have vision of him, and they're not going to chase him either, which is a very good idea considering TC and Fluff were lurking on the high ground. So that's going to be it. Korak's sitting at 5-0-7 right now in terms of kill count. 7-3-5 for Bulba. Dying 3 times, Still, though, he's got his items, and he's doing a lot of damage, and he's helping out his team.
Yeah, Korak mostly concerned with dodging that range creep there because he had a regen rune on. He's jumping on top of Korea right now. This might be an easy kill for him. In fact, Korea's going to drop in a moment.
Oh, he's going to be able to Ghost Walk just in time. Do they have any vision? He's taking damage. No, he should be okay. They're not going to find him. There's no sentries, no vision, or anything like that. So they tried Scream of Painting again with TC. Not going to happen, unfortunately. Nice try, though. So Korea able to use that Ghost Walk just in time, and I think that the mistake there is that Fluff nor Ix Mike actually... Yeah, none of them have... They actually have a gem on Ix Mike, but they didn't see him. Hannah Montana going to get pulled in. There's the Medallion as well. Hannah taking a lot of damage. Not going to be able to infest. He'll go down. There's another kill for Korak. And TC looking to go in, and now they're going to try to siege this tower, of course. And Smurf going to take some damage here. He is all alone. They're going to use everything on the book just to get that kill on him. He will go down very quickly, of course, because all 4 of those guys are there. Bulba, meantime, sitting behind the trees here, trying to be visionless, of course. Shadow Blade usage there. Going to try to maybe vacuum DD down. Oh, he just barely misses, so... He went for it, but it didn't happen. TC's going to get the tower. Nice job there, and they've got quite the lead. It's 23-8. Checking out the graphs once again. 15,000 for experience for Liquid. Gold is now 15,000 as well, and climbing. And with this Roche kill, if they're able to get it in time, it'll certainly help out even more.
Yeah, I mean, we're at that point where we may even see a Divine Rapier soon in this game, and I mean, there's no particular hero that would be great for on the Radiant side, but they have such a decisive gold advantage that they really are in a position to take some liberties, to say the least. They're getting a free Roshan kill right now, and there's nothing Fnatic can really do. They're pushed pretty far back. Lifestealer doesn't have a real item on him quite yet. No armlet, sitting just on those phase boots as well as his drums. And same can be said of most of the heroes. Korea does have that Midas, but still only sitting on a Staff of Wizardry, so looking for an eventual 4-staff, but it's still going to take him quite a while, and Smurf also has to change his build to what's going to be a Maelstrom build on that Lone Druid, and it's a necessary adjustment since the farm is not going to be there for a Radiance, especially at this point in the game, 21.5 minutes in.
Absolutely, and I mean, he has 8 deaths on him right now, and I think maybe that was Liquid's goal to a certain extent, to maybe just pick on Smurf, and I can understand why with all the drama happening. Maybe they decided to say, let's just kill this guy as many times as possible. Maybe it was just a part of their game plan to begin with, because you want to kill that Lone Druid, make sure he doesn't get that farm, of course, and just stop him at all costs. But they really did a freaking good job of that, I'll say to the least. So, Hannah Montana, like you said, has phase and drums, not a whole lot there. I mean, he had that for a while, of course. Smurf going for Maelstrom, that's not going to happen for quite some time. As you can see, he's very far away from that Mithril Hammer, and he's been getting killed quite a lot. So, looking at the net worth graph, everybody on the Radiant is ahead of everybody on the Dire right now, and Mike is just barely beating Korea, who does have that 4-staff almost completed with that Midas as well. So they're looking very good. No outer towers left just for the side of Fnatic. Liquid Korak sitting here, going to maybe take an Illuminate. No, he's going to avoid it, as well as Boba. They're going to back off, make sure that they don't get hit up by that. And now they're going to slowly siege the Tier 3s and the Raxes as well. I mean, they have the Aegis up on Korak, I believe it is, and yeah, they can just play aggressively. They don't really have to worry about a whole lot here. I mean, if they do lose a big fight, you know, if they can kill not only Korak, but himself with the Aegis as well as the rest of the team, it could be a turning point for Fnatic, but that's a very, 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 very large if. So,
I mean, it really comes down to Liquid challenge Fnatic to win that aggressive tri-lane, and Fnatic just seemed to choke under the pressure. They were against the Queen of Pain. It was winnable. She wouldn't have been the easiest hero to kill since they didn't have any real disables. They had a slow from Nyx and a stun from Earthshaker. They could have tried to make something happen, but they adjusted a little bit too early. If they had won that lane decisively, maybe they'd be in a better position right now. Instead, we're sitting 23 minutes in the game, and Nyx has very minimal farm. Earthshaker's roaming didn't benefit either lanes. You just cited the fact that Smurf has 8 deaths on him. Korea 5 deaths on him as well. So the Earthshaker moving from that bottom lane really early served no purpose as they jump on the middle lane.
Oh, pull onto Korea right now. He'll force to have his way out and Ghost Walk as well. So Korok gonna look for the kill, not gonna find it. Wall's gonna fly as well. Korok taking damage. He does have a Bloodstone. He's trying to regen mana up. As you can see, taking tower damage right now. Hannah's thinking about chasing, gonna hit up with that Sonic Wave just barely. Oh, big vacuum coming in from Boba. The all heal as well. Smurf taking damage. There's the Purge. The slow with the Atos as well. Smurf taking a lot of damage. Huge Echo Slam's gonna waste the Aegis there. 2 down right now. TC's one of them as well. Korok's back up though, however. Hannah will go down. Fluff very close to dying. He's going to jump back in. He's going to go for a pull on Boogaloo. Nice force staff coming in from Korea, but Korok doesn't even care. He's going to keep flying in there with his ball lighting, trying to take down Korea. There's a triple kill for Korok, and he is godlike. And Liquid right now, despite losing TC and Fluff, are in a very, very good position.
And I believe it was against Liquid the other day that we saw perhaps Storm Spirit banned out, and we were wondering why, because we hadn't seen Storm Spirit, and then all of a sudden he pops up 2 games, 2 days in a row or so, and Korok showing us that he's still a master of the Storm Spirit, especially when he has the opportunity to get himself going in the early game. I remember back in his debut in Dota 2, he used to play it in the safe lane pretty often and go for the farm, and occasionally teams would just full-on commit to taking Korok down. It was the anti-Korok Dota, and that didn't quite happen in this game, as they do look to engage in the middle.
And they will try to go for an ensnare on Bulba. Nice Rod of Atos on that bear. Purge as well. They're going to really go on this bear. Really trying to get this kill. They absolutely will be able to get it. Looks like one more right click, and they will, in fact, pick that bear off. Smurf can't recreate it for another 100 seconds, so that's down. That's not in the way for the side of Liquid to push in now. They did some decent damage, a little bit of damage, I should say, not a decent amount, to the tier 3 in the mid lane right now. Talking about Storm Spirit, I want to see a 1v1 battle, Fogged versus Korok. Meanwhile, though, we're actually going to see a disruption on Hannah Montana. Silence on him as well. He's going to take some damage. He'll be fine. But, yeah, I mean, you think about Dignitas and the way Fog play with that Storm Spirit against EG in game number 1, and think about how Korok's playing right now, and just imagine both of those heroes going at it, or both of those players, excuse me, going at it with Storm Spirit. Wouldn't that be a lot of fun? I mean, at least in my opinion, it would be so.
It's definitely interesting. They have 2 distinctly different playstyles. Korok is unabated aggression 24/7. Korok knows no bounds. He'll jump in, try and 1v5 a team whenever he feels like it. And, you know, the strange part is that most of the time it pans out for him. Fog, meanwhile, very calculated, meticulous with his Storm Spirit. Likes to be careful, make sure he has his farm. He's in a secure situation before he engages. As we saw, that worked out for them in that long game against EG in the first of the 3 games that they played the other day. And now Korok going to be jumped on in the top lane. I mentioned he likes to go in odd man circumstances. He's 1v3 up here right now.
He doesn't even care at this point. I mean, he's doing a good job of just pressuring with split pushing right now. As you can see, most lanes being pressured by different players here. TC is doing in the bottom lane right now. They were in the middle lane with Bulba and IX Mike, but they're going to back out now. Fluff down here getting some farm. Looks like he's going to go for that pipe, and then they're going to try to push into that. Once they have that pipe, I'm sure they're going to go for that tier 3 as well. But the Aegis should be gone. Oh, it was wasted, excuse me. It was used earlier on in that fight, so it is gone. Roshan not going to be up for another 4.5 minutes, it looks like, so they still have some time there. At this point, though, Fnatic just desperately trying to hang on. Of course, I've had this net worth chart up for a while, and you can see it's not looking good for the side of Fnatic. I mean, they're just trying to get anything going. 20,000 experience now for Liquid. Gold also at 20,000, and that Midas, I mean, they're getting some usage out of it right now, and thank God they haven't lost to Rax yet, but this could be bad for Korea, so, and his team, I guess, for the, I mean, they're not looking like they're in the best position here. There's a Mystic Staff up on the Darkseer. Probably going to go for what I imagine would be a Scythe of Eyes, or maybe a Shiva's Guard, because of course there is that ultimate orb up on Storm Spirit. In fact, he does finish up that Scythe of Eyes, so maybe they go for Shiva's Guard on side of, meanwhile they're going to go for a pull on Hannah Montana. Not going to be able to happen though. There's going to be the open wounds on Korok. He'll take some damage, but he'll be fine. Illuminate going to fly as well, not going to hit. And so just a little bit of harass coming back and forth, split pushing as well right now, and IX Mike going to try to farm up some Ancients here, and we'll do so. And I don't know, I'm surprised they haven't pushed in yet.
Yeah, I mean, they have an opportunity to. They're not really in any urgency. As we saw IX Mike taking about 2 minutes there to try and farm the Ancients. He dropped down to below half health in that tough one-on-one battle against those ancient stack. And now Korok's actually going to jump in the top lane.
He's going to get entangled right now. He's looking to go on Hannah, who's trying to go on him with an open wounds now. Fisher going to fly, not going to hit, or it did, but it didn't do a whole lot. Bulba thinking about a vacuum and a wall. Smurf's going to get hit up by that. Not a whole lot of damage coming into him just yet. Of course, that Bear not being replicated, not that it matters. Bulba taking some damage as well from the Storm, the Horde Spirits there. And there was a mistimed Sunstrike, didn't hit, unfortunately. Illuminate continues to fly. All heal's going to fly as well, just to make sure everybody's healed up to full. Or close to it anyway right now. And Liquid hasn't pushed his 5 yet. They're waiting kind of. TC's going to be TPing into the mid tier 1 right now. He's got a Helm of the Dominator, finishing up an Aghanim Scepter as well. So TC has been farming pretty well for himself. So now maybe they're going to try to push mid lane as 5. Meanwhile, in the top lane, finally they're going to try to get this kill on Hannah Montana. Will do so. And that's beyond godlike for the side of Korok. And a big pickup there for the kill on the Lifestealer, who has no money to buy back. He's looking for Maelstrom. He doesn't have it just yet. He's actually rather close. DD going to use his Fisher. Sunstrike going to fly as well. Korok going to take it. And the Meteor to the face. Korok does have that Bloodstone, so the regen is there. As you can see, TC going to back off as well. And they're still split pushing. Fluff's in the mid lane right now, trying to do some more damage to the tier 3. Bottom lane right now, you can see Ix Mike's actually going solo on this Bear. Trying to do some damage to it. Soul Catcher's on him with the Medallion as well. But here's Korok, who actually TP'd down here. Gonna get the kill on the Bear. It's an extra 100 gold going for Korok once again. Now, both tier 3s are pretty much at half health or below it at this point. Meanwhile, there's gonna be a silence. A big Sonic Wave on Boogaloo. The silence should kill him. No, he'll salve up. Oh, just barely surviving somehow. But he'll have to go back to the base and regen up for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, IX Mike is sitting at 53 CS right now. This is pretty much one of his best games as a support farmer ever, and that's in comparison to 93 CS on this Nike. So a tough day if you're on the Dire team or a fan of the new Fnatic lineup.
Big
they jump in the middle.
On Hannah Montana right now. He's going to use a vacuum as well. Wall not happening just yet. Bulba's gone for the time being. Meanwhile, Bear's still taking more damage. That'll be gone. Hannah going to infest out. He's going to get Rod of Atos. There's the silence as well. They're trying to go for the kill. Korok and TC are up here. Bulba as well. And it will go down again. TC going to get that kill. Meanwhile, TC's going to blink out. Invoker going to kill TC, however, before he can get out. So 1-for-1 trade there. And they're going to defend this once again. So Fnatic trying to just pressure this back. And I mean, it's a war of attrition at this point. Liquid is not winning the battle outright, but they're getting a few kills. They're doing some damage to the tier 3s. If they can get the tier 3s down, it'll be a little bit easier. They're going to go to Roshan, who's up in about 20 seconds, 10 seconds even, to a certain point. Ix Mike, meanwhile, going to maybe pressure top here. As you can see, he's going to push out this lane, which is just going to be more farm for him more. And like you were talking about, he's sitting on some nice CS at 55. Yeah, this is one of his best games, at least from a farming perspective. So he's in a very good position. You look at his items right now. He's got the Medallion. He's got a Vitality Booster. Maybe another Rod of Atos could be coming for him. We'll have to see. Long range jump coming in from Korok. He's going to use his Hextech on Korea. There's the pull as well. Korea should be dead right now. There he goes. Korok will get the kill. That's another kill for him. Still beyond godlike at this point. They're not going for Roche. I thought they were, but they will actually just spread out, sort of just farm, and be sent to their own devices right now.
Yeah, Roche just respawned too, so that's another opportunity for them. So we do see Korok now has 17 stacks on the Bloodstone. He's close, if not at, the instant respawn at 31 minutes of the game. Can't really do the math off the top of my head, but it's really close. So even if they're able to take him down once, he's going to come right back. And if they get the Aegis, of course, it'll just add a whole nother layer of problems for them. As we may see Korok go ahead and Rambo on this middle lane, try and go for another kill here, as he's been able to do so pretty easily thus far, just jumping the base with no hesitation. Hasn't dropped once the whole game, so he's doing everything right, it seems. Bottom lane being pushed out by TC as well. He has a couple items under his belt and has a game, and the problem is they just weren't able to pressure any particular lane early. I mean, if the Queen of Pain and the Storm Spirit are getting farm, as well as Bulba having the best CS early on, then everything's just gone wrong, and it's fundamentally flawed plan. So we're going to look for some adjustments from Fnatic coming into Game 2, but Game 1's still not officially over yet, so Liquid have to find a way to close it out.
Absolutely, and they're going to do so, or try to do so, with this Roshan pickup here. They're 30,000 experience ahead, 25,000 gold, heading in that direction right now. I mean, yeah, Fnatic, I think, had a tough time, especially in that tri-lane. You talked about them trying to just contest the farm of TC, and it didn't happen with that early rotation. Not necessarily the best pickup for that Earthshaker, I think. I don't think he's worked a whole really that well. I think what they were trying to do is get them with this combo that you're seeing right now, which is that Blink into that Echo Slam into that Infest pop-off. So If they can get that and do some damage, maybe they can win a fight here, but it's going to be tough. I mean, the amount of damage and survivability that Liquid has. There it goes. It's going to be an Echo Slam. Fluff will go down first right now. Korok as well. Invoker going to get the kill on Bulba, but he'll buy right back, and Korok is going to get that Aegis popped off, so that's exactly what they wanted. Korok going to get stunned up here. Sonic Wave going to fly. A lot of damage going there. Korok somehow going to be able to get out just barely, but he's very low in health, and he's going to try to TP out as well, and he should be able to do so. Sunstrike going to fly, not going to hit. Meanwhile, Korea trying to look for a kill on TC, who's stunned up with that Fissure. He has a blink. He's not going to use it. Yes, he will, just in time as well. And meanwhile, Bulba's here. So a good fight for Fnatic. They're able to turn it around, make sure the Aegis is gone. That's exactly what they wanted to do, was make sure that Echo Slam came in and then followed up with that Infest and just deal a ton of damage, and absolutely happened. So nice play there.
So there's the reason for all of us wondering why this game wasn't over yet. There's a decent little combo coming out from Fnatic as Liquid were trying to just march on into their base from the epicenter into, or excuse me, Echo Slam into the Illuminate, already dealing a lot of magic damage and then jumping off and finish off any of the stragglers. We do see Korok lose the Aegis, but of course he still survives. So it's still a nuisance to try and cope with even after you're able to take him down once. And certainly is going to be near that instant respawn point now as he's about to finish up his Orchid with enough gold in the bank to get it.
Absolutely, and that'll be a big pickup for him as well. And he'll have a lot of items at that point with the Bloodstone that you were talking about, the Scythe of Ice as well, doing a lot of damage, just being all over the map essentially. He's level 21 right now, out-leveling TC by what seems to be 3 levels here, who's at 18, with Darkseer staying with him. Of course, Invoker at 16 with that Hand of Midas, who does have that Force Staff. It looks like he's building an Aghanim Scepter there as well, trying to get some more spells invoked as quickly as possible, which could be a big deal. Smurf desperately trying to get something going. He's got 700 gold in the bank right now. He's got a Midas finally finished up for him, but that is an extraordinarily late Midas at 34 minutes in the game. However, it will allow him to get some farm without, of course, having to head out into that jungle with getting that extra little bit of gold there. Hannah Montana sitting on that Maelstrom as well, so they have some damage here. The Echo Slam, I think, should be off cooldown soon. Yeah, about 20 seconds, so they can defend another push here from the side of the Liquid. And I don't know what you do if you're Liquid. I mean, they came in with that fight. They were ready to go, but that Echo Slam came in right. Really nice time there, and of course they lost the Aegis, but there is a pipe up for Chen right now. Paul is coming out from the side of Smurf, just trying to get everything together here. 30-13. Look at the graphs. It sort of dipped for a second, but the experience is now still climbing for the side of Liquid. Gold as well at 30,000 now, so I don't know. This is like, even though they won that last fight, technically, they really didn't get anything out of it for some reason.
Yeah, and it's going to take them 6, 7 fights until they get anything real out of it. I mean, here's the thing, is if Liquid were at all concerned about this match getting away from them, they would just pick up BKBs on Queen of Pain and Korok, and then they'd be absolutely okay, because the only thing that's going to make a good team fight for Fnatic at this stage of the game is going to be that big Echo Slam like you saw last time around, as well as what comes out from Invoker and the Illuminate. So they have essentially a safe plan to fall back on if things really do go poorly, but I'd imagine one of these pushes is just going to break through, as we do see the final Orchid flying out to Korok. So now they can silence up 2 of the heroes on the initiation, which is going to be really hard to cope with if you're Fnatic, and maybe that will be the break point.
Absolutely. And you talked about BKBs for either Korok or TC. TC's actually already thinking of that. He went for that Mithril Hammer and the Ogre Club, so like you said, he just wants to get that magic immunity, make sure that this game doesn't get away from him. He needs about 1,000 gold right now for that recipe to finish up. He'll have it pretty soon. He's farming pretty well. He's just sitting right outside the tier 3 on the high ground, able to farm like it's nobody's business with that Scream of Pain, so he'll be fine. Korok, of course, with that Orchid Malevolence like you were talking about right now, could go for a pull on Smurf, but I'm sure the reaction would come right out from the side of Fnatic here. Liquid's still trying to farm up. They're trying to push out all the lanes. As you can see, Fluff's doing a good job in the bottom lane with, of course, the Ursa Warrior, the Satyr Hellcaller, and, of course, the Kobold Taskmaster there. So they're going to continue to push bottom lane here. Push the pretty much push every lane. I mean, the Force Spirits trying to do a good job of pushing this back out. Illuminate has been flying on cooldown from the side of Boogaloo, desperately making sure, or just trying to get this push back out in the mid lane, but it's not going to happen. As you can see, Bulba, an item being sent to him. He's got a Scythe of Ice now, so there's 2 of those available for them. No Shiva's Guard, which is what I thought it was going to be. But meanwhile, in the top lane, TC going to take a lot of damage here from Hannah Montana. There's going to be a Sunstrike going to fly, going to deal a little bit of damage. TC very close to actually maybe falling there, but he's okay. Sonic Wave on a Creep Wave just to make sure he gets that farm, and he's going to head out of there. Meanwhile, mid lane, Korok going to just narrowly avoid that Illuminate flying from Boogaloo. BKB is finished up for TC as he does head back home. Fluff now looking to try to just take some of these Ancients here with his creeps. We'll do a good job of that. IX Mike has been farming pretty consistently. He's at 91 last hits right now, and he's going to have something flying to him pretty soon. He's got drums on him, phase boots, and a vitality booster with that medallion of courage, rounding out his pretty much items there. Reaver is up for him on the courier, so he's going to go for a Heart of Trask on a Shadow Demon. Definitely not necessary, but certainly going to make it harder for him to die.
Yeah, he's been trying to pad his stats for quite some time now. He's been farming all the Ancients, even though it takes him well too long for it to be cost-effective measure. And now he's farming all the jungle. He hasn't been a part of a team fight for, I'd say, the better part of 8 minutes now. For some reason, NYJohn trying to bolster his resume, trying to get that extra CS on Shadow Demon, go the distance. Meanwhile, his team just keeps knocking on the door. No concerns. Bulba in the middle lane, a couple split up towards top. That's TC and Korok, and that's probably the two you want to keep an eye on in terms of potential engagement.
Absolutely, and they're going to actually use that glyph now, so that glyph is not available. TC with double damage, not going to take the tier 3, very close to taking it. Might get denied. Nah, they're not going to deny it. Well, maybe they will. And will in fact deny the tower there. There's the first tier 3 of the game. It took long enough for Liquid to pressure it, but it is going to go down. Roshan up in about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, it seems like. Meanwhile, there's going to be a big jump coming in. There's the Hex onto Hannah Montana. He might go down here. BKB's going to be popped. TC not afraid of anything. Nice infest going on to Hannah right now. We're going to try to take him down. The Sonic Wave going to go, but the Rage flying as well. So it was a little bit of a waste, but they do get the kill. And now Hannah down for a minute here. Doesn't have a buyback as well. And that's going to make some room for the side of Liquid. So now they're all going to come in and try to pressure the top lane. Ice Wall's going to fly in. This is going to make it difficult to push in onto the high ground here. Of course, Korea Ghost Walking, or Rod of Atos, away right now. He's actually dusted up, smoked up as well. So good job by Boogaloo to try to push that wave back in, and will do so for the time being. But they're going to try to pressure the Raxes right now with the 40 seconds. Meanwhile, the long jump from Korok, looking for a pull, not finding it. And looking for something. Is going to jump out again. Creeps from Fluff are going on the melee racks right now. TC taking some damage, doesn't have his BKB. Meanwhile, Korok going to jump a long way. There's going to be a big Echo Slam, not doing a whole lot. Pipe got off just in time for Fluff, but there's the entangle. Meanwhile, Korea silenced up. All heal is going to fly before Fluff can go down. Korok going to get the kill on the side of Korea. Meanwhile, Darkseer going to go down, or get the kill on Boogaloo. And IX chasing Earthshaker, going to get the kill there. Meanwhile, Lone Druid going to kill TC. Jump onto Boogaloo right now. Korok wanting this kill. Getting it with his overload. Double kill for him. Smurf going to try to right-click him down. There's an entangle. The Static Remnant, though, and the pull flying in. Korok going to get a triple kill, going to finish it off. And finally, Hannah respawns, but that's going to be Rax at least it. Maybe another one as well. As you can see, they're doing work on the middle Raxes as well. Should be 2 sets of Raxes and maybe GG. Hannah's going to try to TP out. Will be able to do so because he had that rage on him. The Purge was going to fly as well, but it doesn't matter.
Hannah just ran in and then TP'd out there. He charged in. I'm pretty sure IX in competitive games has 100% win rate every game that he gets a heart, so this one probably in the books once he emerged from the jungle with that. And a clean victory, I'd say, for Liquid. May have won a little bit longer than it should have, but nonetheless, nice, seamless, easy win. And Fnatic got to show us what they're working with. I mean, this could be a big game for them, and they're talking about reforming. These have to be some of the potential recruits. We've heard a lot about Boogaloo going to be a part of the team. So if there's any place to start, it's trying to compete with the top talent in North America, and Liquid definitely fit that role.
Absolutely, but I want to ask, what other game has IX picked up a heart in?
Well, that's why I'm going to go with it being 100% win rate.
Okay.
I'm going out on a limb here.
I think you're probably right in that regard. It is a good game, though, and we will jump into game number 2 in just a moment, guys. So thanks for sticking around watching Liquid versus Fnatic. This was game 1. Of course, Killing Spree here on NYJohn. I am Maut. You can follow me at twitter.com/MautDota2 and twitch.tv/MautDota2. And, of course, follow us at NYJohn.com, of course, on this channel as well. And with me tonight is NYJohn. Where can they find you, sir?
You guys can check me out on Twitter at NYJohnTV. Also, my YouTube and Twitch are /NYJohnTV, so head over there.
Definitely do that, and we're going to jump into the next game in just a moment, guys. So stick around. We'll be back in not very long time, so I hope you guys enjoy the next game, and we'll be right back.